Over in the pages of DC Comics, the publisher is currently embarking over on the Night Terror storyline, in which new villain Insomnia has plunged the DC universe into a deep slumber. Insomnia has taken advantage of this status quo by searching for the Nightmare Stone within the dreams of various DC heroes. And this also gives Night Terrors the opportunity to resurrect a forgotten team over at DC Comics in the space of Justice League Dark. My name is Arako Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and celebrate the return of Detective Chimp and John Constantine in the context of a Wonder Woman story in Night Terror's Wonder Woman. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And without further ado, I want to introduce some context over for Night Terror's Wonder Woman with DC Comics solicitation text for the issue. The Justice League Dark against Nightmares comes to life. After investigating an alarming intrusion at the now defunct Hall of Justice, Wonder Woman and her unexpected ally, Detective Chimp, suddenly find themselves in a world where their worst nightmares come to life. Who could possibly defeat these things that go bump in the night, the Justice League Dark? The Amazon princess unites with her old team to save the world from a sweet dream turned into a beautiful nightmare. Plus, Queen Nubia finds herself trapped in the Well of Souls. Want to introduce this first story in the issue called Night Terrors, written over from Josie Campbell, featuring art from Juan Ferreyra, letters from Pat Brosseau, and we have a cover coming in directly from Jay Lee and Chung. Here's a look over at the cover on Night Terror's Wonder Woman. Really appreciate this frayed expression that Detective Chimp is offering, as well as the kind of shadows portrayed over on John Constantine and Dr. Fate in the issue. I want to extend a big thank you over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of the issue so incredibly fast here. And I want to spend a couple moments focusing in over on some of the artwork from Juan Ferreyra. Juan Ferreyra is a really fantastic artist over at DC. I think his art is captured really well in the context of a horror story, making Night Terrors a great vehicle for some of his work. We talked previously in our Night Terrors reviews about how kind of expressionistic and curvy some of the line is over from the artist contributing to the books. And I think Juan Ferreyra's line definitely is more on that sort of expressionistic side, lending something really interesting and giving the book a great sense of ambiance as well. Due to the fact that Wonder Woman is kind of reunited with her old Justice League Dark team, this book is primed to venture into the supernatural and needs a kind of dark and interesting color palette. As you can tell from the page that we have up on the screen, I think Juan Ferreyra contributes a wonderful sense of page design as he interweaves so many panels over on one page in moments like this. Also, really appreciate all the detail that Ferreyra lends over to these pages that feature the kind of labyrinth over in the issue as well. Thought there were some great moments here. So in terms of some of the writing over on Night Terror's Wonder Woman, I have to say this book was one of the more frightening entries over to the Night Terror's canon. Really appreciate what Josie Campbell lent over to the book. This first page sequence that we have up on the screen right now with Wonder Woman kind of melting away was a great way to go ahead and kick off the issue and sort of reintroduce characters like the Justice League Dark over into the fold. Also really appreciated how the story really kind of naturally led into the context of introducing Wonder Woman's supporting cast as well. Very early on into the story, we kind of established some of these character relationships, and the goal very early on in the issue is to reunite with all of the characters, with people like Swamp Thing and Zatanna as well. So it's interesting to watch some of these Justice League Dark members fight through this kind of winding labyrinth in order to find some of their friends over in the tale. As mentioned earlier, John Constantine has so many great moments in this story, sort of casting spells adding wit and personality to the story as well. He also has a couple of great dramatic moments over with Zatanna. There's also some strong fight sequences with Wonder Woman and a Night Terror's character later on in the issue, and some of those final moments as well, featuring Diana going up against a really mysterious character, were really, really intriguing here. So, very fascinated to see how Night Terrors kind of extends into the next issue, and think that the book did a great job establishing some of those plot threads over in the first story. I want to talk a little bit about this Nubia Well of Horrors story. This one is written over from Stephanie Williams, featuring art from Meghan Hetrick, colors from Marissa Louise, and letters from Becca Carey. So in terms of this Nubia Well of Horrors story, I thought this series did a great job kind of establishing a plot thread for Nubia. Really appreciate the fact that so many of these DC stories centered around Nubia feature her essentially returning to the Well of Souls. I think it's really interesting watching how writers kind of reinterpret that status quo, and watching Nubia try and protect the character of Gaia was fascinating, and also appreciated too how the first story called out Gaia as well. I always like it when there's a couple of plot threads between the first and second stories of these issues, so that they have a little bit more connective tissue here. Artist Meghan Hetrick brings a lot of versatility over to this story. I think the book really segues naturally from a more domestic setting into the kind of harsh reality over at Night Terrors in the nightmare realm of the storyline. And again, I really appreciate how the book kind of leaves off, venturing even farther into the horror tone and subverting the first step of the storyline, introducing Gaia as well there. Lastly, I just wanted to mention here that some of the kind of textures and page design over from Meghan Hetrick really sort of captured my imagination throughout this series, and just really appreciated that really curvy sense of line offered to this story. I think this really suits Night Terrors as a whole, and features a lot of kind of expressions for the various characters throughout the issue as well. Also, I think DC has done a great job kind of extending the scope of the Wonder Woman property over the last couple years, and really bringing in these other Amazon characters like Nubia. So I think Night Terror's Wonder Woman is better for having this Nubia storyline within it. And again, I hope that DC kind of continues to publish more content with Nubia and the other kind of Amazon characters over in Themyscira as well. So in terms of Night Terror's Wonder Woman, I think this series provided such horrific visuals and so much intriguing characterization in terms of people like the Justice League Dark. I think this issue was all about the character of John Constantine, with a couple strong moments over for Wonder Woman and Detective Chimp. So if you are a Constantine fan, you absolutely can't miss this story. Think Josie Campbell's main tale over with Juan Ferreyra was really excellent here. It definitely among the top echelon of some of the Night Terror series that I've read so far. Also, this backup story featuring wonderful art from Meghan Hetrick and some strong writing from Stephanie Williams makes this a really fantastic package. I think Wonder Woman as a property should continue to flesh out Themyscira. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on Night Terror's Wonder Woman? Did you enjoy this series as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our videos, and we'll be back to talk Night Terrors in the very near future. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.